Picture this. I'm sipping coffee on my sagging porch in the scrubby high desert outside Grand Junction, Colorado, when a voice that could curdle milk hits me like a freight train. Open this barn right now, or I'm calling every agency with a badge. There she stood at my gate, Karen Whitaker, 5 feet 3 inches of pure pressed powder rage, her homemade Western Integrity watch vest flapping like a surrender flag in the wind. And the kicker? That barn she hated so much wasn't even mine anymore. It belonged to the Department of Homeland Security. But Karen didn't know that yet, and her little power trip was about to become the best entertainment the county had seen since the last rodeo. 6 months earlier I'd inherited this 3-acre patch from my Uncle Ray, a grouchy old rancher who collected rusty tractors the way some folks collect Funko Pops. The place sat just beyond the city line, no HOA, no covenants, nothing but open sky and the occasional coyote. The barn? A leaning wreck of gray timber and missing panels that screamed, "Tear me down." To most eyes it was an eyesore. To the clean-cut agent who rolled up in a black Suburban 2 weeks after I signed the papers, it was perfect. Low-profile storage for 6 months, he said, sliding a contract thicker than a phone book across the hood. You get paid enough to fix the roof, and then some. Just pretend it doesn't exist. I signed. The only rule, nobody touches it. Not me. Not the mailman. Especially not nosy neighbors. Karen used to run the HOA 2 streets over in the Bluffs until they voted her out for finding a guy whose rose bushes were the wrong shade of pink. Stripped of her throne, she went full vigilante, reflective vest, clipboard, Bluetooth earpiece barking orders at imaginary deputies. She patrolled like the whole county was her kingdom. 3 days after the ink dried on my federal deal, she rolled up with her crew, Janet clutching a thermos like a weapon, Earl the retired accountant who just wanted to feel tall, and her nephew filming on his phone like this was TikTok gold. Your barn violates every principle of rural harmony, she announced, nose in the air. Code 17C, deteriorating structure. Visual blight. You've got 48 hours to remove it or I file a citizen complaint. I laughed. Karen, this isn't your subdivision. You're on private land. Back off. She smiled that tight little smile people use right before they key your car. I'm protecting property values for everyone, dear. Even you. That night I got the all-clear from the agent, cargo arriving soon. I went to bed thinking it was handled. At dawn I woke to the sound of metal screaming. I ran outside in my boxers and found the entire barn door lying 20 feet away in the dirt, splintered like kindling. Fresh tire tracks led straight to the road. Duct taped to the wreckage was a bright orange paper. Obstruction removed for community safety. You're welcome. Western Integrity Watch. I stared at it, the desert wind whipping dust in my face, and felt that delicious mix of horror and glee. Karen had just vandalized a federal asset and signed her own name. I called the agent. 20 minutes later he was there, staring at the wreckage like a cat that just spotted a limping mouse. She towed it off with her truck, I said. He actually grinned. Perfect. We'll replace it today, steel frame, painted to match but rigged. Load the decoy crates tomorrow. If she comes back we watch. They installed the new door that afternoon, then under cover of darkness stacked 20 black crates inside stamped classified in screaming red. Honeypot set. 2 days later Karen returned, bicycle helmet strapped on like she was storming Normandy. She wedged a crowbar in the seam, grunted, popped the latch they'd left deliberately weak. The door swung open 6 inches. Her eyes lit up when the flashlight hit those crates. I knew it. Toxic waste. Government cover-up. She dragged a box out, popped the lid, and held up a stack of heavily redacted pages to her nephew's camera. The people deserve to know. She sped off, video already uploading. Brave mom exposes secret dump next door. Share before they scrub it. By nightfall she had a mob of 15, candle moms, conspiracy uncles, signs reading, "No Fed lies here." They marched up my driveway, chanting like it was the 4th of July. Karen raised her bullhorn. Citizen seizure for public safety. Open the gate. I stood on the porch trying not to laugh. Karen, you're about to step in the biggest pile of consequences you've ever seen. Then the floodlights snapped on, day turned to blinding white. Black Suburbans rolled in behind them, boxing everyone in. A voice boomed over the loudspeaker. Federal agents. Everyone on the ground. Now. The mob melted faster than ice cream in August. Signs clattered. Grown adults sprinted into the sagebrush. Karen froze, bullhorn still raised, mouth open like a landed trout. The lead agent, vest blazing Homeland Security, walked straight up to her. Karen Whitaker, you're under arrest for destruction of federal property, theft of classified materials, trespass, and inciting a civil disturbance. She sputtered, I'm a whistleblower. I have rights. They cuffed her anyway. Her nephew kept filming. The video of her getting stuffed into the SUV went mega viral before she even reached county lockup. 3 days later she was back on bail, looking like a deflated balloon animal. She stopped at the exact legal edge of my property, dropped an envelope, and drove away without a word. Inside, a check covering the original door plus a notarized letter admitting she had zero authority and dissolving her watch effective immediately. At the bottom, in her jagged handwriting, P.S. That barn color still clashes with the landscape. I cashed it and bolted up a shiny new sign. U.S. government contractor property, trespassers prosecuted by actual law. 6 months on, the feds cleared out their crates, but I kept the reinforced door. Every so often Karen drives past real slow. She glares at the sign, knuckles white on the wheel, but she never stops. She finally learned some doors aren't hers to open. So here's the question that keeps me up at night, folks. Was Karen just a concerned citizen protecting neighborhood standards, or did she get exactly the federal reality check she deserved for playing cop with a clipboard? Drop your take in the comments. I read every single one while enjoying the sweet, sweet silence of a Karen-free morning.